Hi there, welcome to my first market update for 2024. I hope everybody had a great new year and I hope everyone has a great year ahead. Thank you for tuning in last year to these videos. Please remember to like and subscribe to my videos. You'll get notifications when we film them. You'll be able to keep up to date with what's happening in the property market across this year and across our region, of course. So let me talk today about how the year finished. I'll give you a quick summary of how I saw the year of 2023, and then let's talk critically about what we expect to happen and some predictions for the market for the year ahead. So December, an unusually busy December, I'm very pleased to say. Sales agreed, which is a critical measure for us in that month, 23% higher than the year prior, and actually the highest level of sales that we've seen agreed in the month of December across Manning Stainton for over 10 years. With the exception, I should say, of December of 2020. That was the year where, of course, we were leaving that first lockdown. The market was incredibly busy at that time. But it gives you some idea of the interest that we're seeing in the market, and that follows on from the increase that we've seen in buyers registering at the back end of the year. So the number of buyers registering through that last quarter of 2023 was in fact 27% higher than the year prior. And that's a big increase. And a lot of that, in my opinion, comes down to the settlement that we've seen around the interest rate borrowing environment. Mortgage rates have started to settle and come down. And I think that's allowed people to come back to the market. So overall, 2023 was, in my opinion, a year very much of two halves. The first half of the year was spent essentially reeling from the effects of the now infamous mini budget that happened in September of 2022. We saw prices fall, we saw interest rates going up, we saw borrowing costs increasing. The market was in a really difficult space, but nonetheless, people continued to buy and we weathered through that storm. And then we saw the back end of the year, the second half of the year, after the summer particularly, where things really did start to improve. And so the soft landing that we were hoping to see happen through last year very much took place. The doomsday predictions of double-digit falls in prices did not come true. And depending on the index that you listen to, whether it be Halifax, Rightmove, Nationwide, or of course the Land Registry, we've seen prices do anything from fall, apparently by last year by 1.8%, to anything to grow. One of the indexes said prices had grown last year and finished 1.7% higher than they had done in the year prior. I think that that's not quite right. In our view, we think that prices probably ended up around 3 to 5% lower than they were at the same time last year as we finished 2023. So what do we expect to happen in the year ahead? It's an interesting one to try and predict, but one which nonetheless I'm going to give a go at. So the first thing I want to talk about, perhaps predictably, is around the cost of borrowing, the cost of a mortgage, because that's a big part of what drives the market. That's what drives buyer activity. It's what we saw bring buyers back to the market at the end of last year. And it's clear to me that we are expecting the borrowing environment to be far more settled this year. Let's have a look at the reason why things were so difficult last year. Let's pop up that chart which shows the Bank of England increase in interest rates. You can see rates went up nearly as quickly as they came down back in 2007-8 on the back of course, the credit crunch there. And interest rates now, the base rate sat at 5.25%, is predicted to fall into 2024. But that's not the critical chart, because that's not what fixed mortgage are priced off. And we need to look at the 10-year gilt chart, which I'll pop up on the screen for you here. You can see now that the 10-year swap rates, as they're called, are now at a level which is comparable with May of last year. And these are expected to fall as interest rates fall into 2024. And all of this is driving a lot of competition amongst mortgage lenders. So we've already seen at the start of this year, competition amongst lenders offering the best rates out in the market, trying to attract buyers to come and use their products. And we expect to see this continue. And as long as that does, that will help to fuel the market and fuel that buyer demand. The second factor which we have to consider, and it's something I've spoken about a lot over the last year, is around supply. The fact is the population in the UK is growing, the population in the UK is aging, so people aren't moving down the market as quickly as they might be, properties aren't becoming available as they might be, and we're not building enough. We've not hit our building target of 300,000 homes to be built a year for the last 10 years, as the government suggested they would in their manifesto. So the reality is we simply do not have enough property to satisfy the demand. And I've spoken about this a lot, and I think it still remains a really, really key factor. So those two things alone, and I know I'm taking a very simplistic view of the market, in terms of supply and in terms of demand, we still have this disproportionate weight on the buyer demand side of things. We're not building enough to satisfy the demand that exists, whether that be in the sales or the lettings market. And of course, both then have an impact on prices. It's why we haven't seen prices fall the way that so many predicted they would in 2023. But what do we expect to happen to prices in 2024? I still think it's going to be a reasonably subdued year. Prices will probably change by anything from 0% up to and around 3 to 4% in the year ahead. So not much growth expected for the year as far as we can see. So for me, the exception and the thing that we need to consider is potentially the black swan event, certainly nothing as severe as we saw through the pandemic, is of course the general election that's coming up and has now been tipped for being the second half of 2024. So with that, we've got two things we need to consider. First of all, we've got the Chancellor's budget, which has been called very early this year, is going to be in early March. And Jeremy Hunt, I think, is going to drop a few bombs. We expected to be some interesting stuff at the back end of last year in the autumn statement. Nothing really came of significance to impact the housing market. I think it could be the case that we'll see something in early March. That could then drive some activity through that spring and summer period as we run down towards the election. And then in terms of the election itself, look, we're not going to get into politics on these videos. That's never the job of, I think, someone like myself. What I would say to you is that the property market does not respond well to uncertainty. So what we need to see is a clean and a clear result in the election, whichever way it goes. Looks more than likely we'll get a Labour government. And as long as that clear result happens, I don't think it will interrupt the market too much. Of course, you're going to have to stay in touch with me through these videos to find out whether or not our predictions are correct, and I'll keep updating them as we go through the year. I hope that everybody has a great 2024, as I've already said. For those looking to buy and sell in this year, we're available 8 a.m. till 8 p.m, 7 days a week. We'd love to talk to you about how we can help you move in 2024. Thanks as always for watching.